So please put a warm hand together for Natasha Montgomery.
Thank you, Miles. That was brilliant. I'm Natasha, and I'm going to be talking about managing operations with design thinking. So basically, thinking about you or your team, what kind of non-design and non-research activities are you doing? And then now I want people to think, roughly how much time per week do you spend on those activities? So just put a hands up if you're a designer or a researcher and you think you're doing this for maybe 2 hours a week. Anyone who thinks they're doing it for like 4 hours a week? Maybe more? What about over 8 hours? Over 8 hours a week doing non-design, non-research activities? Brilliant, because that's a day's work for a design operations manager. Also, thinking about your team and thinking about UX maturity. So where do you think you are on the UX maturity scale? And how do you rate your own organisation and its capabilities? And then think about it and think about where you want to be on that scale. So this is actually the Wilson-Norman stages of maturity. And I ran this test with my own team earlier this year. And this is where we thought we were. So we thought we were actually in stage 3, sort of like roughly emergent to structured. But actually there are some people who were thinking that it was sort of like around about 2 as well. But this is actually all going in the right direction. We really want to move up to sort of like stages 4 and 5 and 6. And we discussed it as a team. Sort of like what are the barriers, what are the blockers, what is the support from management that we need to actually push ourselves up these stages of maturity. And we put a bit of an action plan together, and sort of the managers are now working on that. So I work for Wolters Kluwer. I work for the digital experience group at DXG in the tax and accounting division. So our team makes cloud software tools, which is enterprise UX, for tax advisors and accounting professionals that are currently in beta. So we're very much in that early discovery, sort of research and design phase. We don't actually have a live product at the moment, but we will very, very soon. So my role is to effectively manage the operations of the design and the research team. And we work continuously from discovery to deployment and beyond. My work focuses on understanding and improving the experience of designers and researchers in our team. And I use design thinking to really sort of like nail down that experience, nail down my understanding of that experience. So these are some of the universities that I've been to. And these are some of the organisations that I've worked for. So I've got over about 15 years experience in project management, design management, creative ops, design ops and research ops. So when I think about design, I think about the definitions that sort of ground my thinking. And these are the ones that I'm going to sort of play back to you. So this is a great quote from Alice Rawson. Essentially, design is an agent of change, which can help us to make sense of what's happening around us and turn that to our advantage. Design is an incredibly powerful tool. We can use it to make the best medical equipment on the earth, and we can also use it for things like propaganda as well. But this is my really favourite quote. Design is to design a design to produce a design. And this is actually incredibly relevant to operations, because I actually am not a designer. I don't produce designs, but I design the design to produce a design, for others to produce the design. And then this is actually the best quote. Good design is good business, and that is still absolutely true today. So yeah, if you're working in design, you're working in the right place. So the definition of design ops is the orchestration and optimization of people, processes and craft in order to amplify design's value and impact at scale. And design operations focuses on everything around design. Its aim is to accelerate and mature the design and research and innovation function of an organisation, which is actually a very, very powerful tool. So I use design thinking to do this. So I use the same discovery process that designers use. I empathise with my design team, I empathise with the researchers, I understand their processes, I want to find their user needs, I want to understand what their frustrations are, the friction points, how that actually all pulls together. And then I want to like really sort of like define those and then ideate solutions collaboratively with the team, things that we think are really going to work and stick. And then we try them out. We prototype, we come up with some ideas, and we make them happen. We send them out. And then we keep on learning, and it's continuous learning and improvement all the time. And I absolutely love that. So why does design and research ops matter? Well, basically, there are three main design operations themes. It's how we work together, how we get work done, and how work creates an impact. And all of these things, if you get it really right, can really accelerate the growth of a team and the maturity of a team and the stability of a team. And especially working at Wolters Kluwer, we have an incredibly complex product, and we really want to invest hard in our designers and researchers, and we want them to really enjoy their experience as they're working for us. So this is it. Let's thinking about how we work together as a team. Setting up team members for success right from the start. So that's something that, are you doing that basically? Are you setting team members, or are they just figuring it out on their own? Is the team actually working well together? Are there sort of, friction points? What's actually happening? Are you hiring and developing like awesome people? And are there efficiency gaps? And where are they? What are they? How are you going to fix them? How are you going to solve them? Looking at team structure, do you have the right team structure for the kind of products that you're delivering? In our case, we've split our team into a discovery and a sort of design delivery team, and that works with the skill set and the characteristics of the team, and that's working really well at the moment. But also, you can think like how we work together. Is there duplicated efforts? Is there UX UI alignment? What is team morale like, basically? Do people in your team have creative freedom, and are they communicating well? And then also sort of like meeting fatigue. Do you have too many meetings? So these are all things, all the aspects I'm thinking of sort of like is how we work together a team and areas for improvement. So then this is another way of looking at this, how we get work done. So how we collaborate and partner with other teams, with our product managers, with our product owners, with our development teams, with our managers, with our leaders. So looking at that process as well, are we aligned? We use a process called SAFE, Scaled Agile Framework for Enterprise. And it's are we all doing it, basically? Have we got the right tools to do what we need to do? Are there duplications of tools? Are we running design sprints and co-design workshops? And, is everyone all aligned on the big picture, on the actual vision of what we're going to be delivering? And feeling confident that they can drive that through end to end as a team. And also PM and UX roadmap planning. Can we see what's coming around the corner? Are we planning all the time? These are all things that are like really important to sort of how we get work done. So we also have to prove how our work creates impact, and for this we can use all kinds of metrics for efficacy, efficiency, UX behavioural metrics. And we can do that through documentation and case studies and reports. And we can get the actual data from Pendo Analytics as well. But we haven't got a live product at the moment, but we're setting this all up so we can collect that data. And when it actually arrives, we'll be able to iterate and innovate around that. Amrit will actually cover this in much more detail. So I'm just going to sort of like gloss over this a little bit. But this is the big question when you think about your team. How does your team really feel about the work that they do? You've really got to ask that question and have a safe space to actually get those answers. It's really important. But once you do know that, then you can keep going, and then you can keep improving and keep iterating. So back to the big question, how does the role of design and research ops make a positive difference? Well, so let me tell you a little story about our team in 2022, which is the year I started. I started at the same time as another senior designer, which was great. And we had a bit of a time sort of figuring it all out. There was no real onboarding process, and both of us came from different industries and had to sort of like figure it all out. And that was actually really made me realise that basically I wanted to get up to speed quickly and I needed the tools to do that. But also, this is quite sad in our team, we were a team of about 6 people and we didn't have a researcher at the time, we didn't have a full-time researcher. And within like the first 6 to 8 months, 4 really, really good people handed in their notice and left to go to other jobs. And that was actually a really big hit for us. And we were really feeling like, how can we pull this all back together again? So now, our team in 2024. This is what we've been doing. We've got a full-time researcher. We've grown up to a team of 10. We've run, this is just from this year, from January to today, basically. We've run 27 research studies, including betas and live testing and exploratory interviews and user journey mapping and prototype testing. This is all informing the robustness of our product that we're going to be delivering. We've talked to 165 customers and 35 non-customers. This insight, this creative insight that we're getting is absolutely fantastic for us. And it's not what we weren't doing that in 2022. We've got an initiative that I've been working on called UX Labs, which is basically to pull our friendly customers together. So when we want to do research, it's very easy to sort of talk to them and get them recruited and booked in, and we can really arrange this. We've got regular UX runway planning and workload and resourcing and scheduling sessions, and this is going really great, so we know what's coming down around the corner. We're working, as soon as people have a sight of a project, of an epic, we're in there straight away, we're at the table, we're having conversations with them, we're deciding what we're going to do, we're working out our approach. And this is fantastic. And as the product managers' roadmaps change, we can shift with them as well. So this is really great for us. We've run 15 workshops, and also with the team, I've done surveys and workshops and socials. I really want to just pull us all together, and it's really working. We've got some awesome people on the team. And regular co-design sessions and meetings with squads, Google design sprints we've been running, and regular retros with collaborators in the team. So we can improve our work as a team, but actually work out how we partner better with the PMs, with all the people that we're working with. So this is quite a big achievement for us, and I'm very proud of this slide. So this is some of the projects that I've been working on, some of the initiatives. I've been looking at toolkits for designers and researchers. I've been going through that design thinking process, basically. So these are some of the examples of the work that I've been doing to sort of like really improve that new starter onboarding process. There is an HR onboarding process, but like if you really want to understand the team and the product, then you really need to go through this. And it's absolutely fantastic. And I create this for each different role, for each different new starter. They can really, and it kind of grows as well, which is fantastic. This is just a tiny snippet of it. So this is an onboarding, and it gives people confidence when they start, which is absolutely fantastic. So it means that they feel that they can try and, pick up speed working in a brand new industry. We haven't thrown right into the deep end, basically. And this is fantastic, it's working really well, I'm loving it. I've also been running retros to understand how we collaborate better, and I've run more retro I've run quite a lot of retro workshops to improve collaboration and to basically improve how we co-design as well with all of our stakeholders. And in the summer last year, we ran 30 research sessions, which was absolutely fantastic. And I wanted to understand, at the close of that sort of that big block of research, I really wanted to understand how we could improve, what were the kind of friction points, what were the problems, how did it really work? And did we get what we want? Are we confident in what we want? And what can we do better, basically? So we went through this quite nice festival retro, which is quite a lot of fun, and then put together a whole list of actions and who was going to own it, who were the next chaps. And this is basically our tracker. And we've been implementing quite a few things, and I'm going to show you a couple. So out of that, we realised that we needed to create UX resources for non-researchers, UX research resources for non-researchers. So when we do run research, we have a lot of observers that are our stakeholders, that come from any part of the company, and it's fantastic. We want to invite them in, but we want them to understand the roles and the responsibilities, how the researcher actually conducts the research session, and we've put together like a workshop and toolkit around this, which is fantastic. We also realised that biases were at play, so we needed to, do a big sort of like PowerPoint on biases, and that we can take out to the rest of the business, and upskill ourselves on that. And this is all, yeah. And then from the researcher's point of view, more engagement through UX Labs. We've got about 150 friendly customers on our list, which is amazing. I brought in a new partner called People for Research. They're absolutely fantastic, and we work with Roots as well. And also marketing and putting together, have created this initiative for the Wolters Kluwer Club, where people can do challenges and win prizes and actually get points towards like delivery vouchers and stuff. So we're using that to incentive, to get some more, survey results and things like that. So we're really using it. It's fantastic. I've also wanted to understand how designers and researchers spend their time. Are they focused? Do they work like this with these big blocks of time where you can actually focus and you can actually get a deep dive into one big project? Or are their calendars sort of like little blocks? How does that all work? So basically, we did this retro and we removed the unnecessary meetings and more time was blocked out for focus work. And actually the designers and the research have that autonomy to do that as well. If they need to block out an afternoon to get a really big piece of work done, of course, that's fantastic. The team can take more control of their own time and how they work rather than their calendars ruling them. And then this is another sort of big process improvement. It's basically the working safe. And this is quite a big complex diagram, but I wanted to show you this because we wanted to show how SAFE and UX can work together. SAFE is the scaled agile framework. And this sort of like represents a 3-month block, 1 PI, basically, 1 quarter. And this is the backlog for the developers. So as UX and UI design team, we work in the runway in the discovery and design section. So we are feeding into that. But ahead of that, we're actually 3 months ahead of that, we're doing all the planning. And this is when we're working hard with the PMs and the POs, understanding what their requirements are so that we can plan our work around that. And we are constantly sort of in this phase of always runway planning, doing discovery and design work, and then supporting all of the developers that are doing their live work at the moment. So I can talk about this for a long time, but if anyone wants to ask me questions, that's absolutely fine. Also brought in some new tooling. We've been working with this on already, but now we're in enterprise license, which means that as we're a global company, we can share boards with people who are in other parts of the world, the American team, the European team, the Scandinavian team. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's just sort of making us work a bit more efficiently and planning all of our work around. It's brilliant. We've also brought on board Great Question, which is our new research tool, which we're really enjoying. We're hoping that will be up soon. And Webflow as well, which is a really smart, it will help us to get really cool interactive prototypes. And so this is all sort of going through our GBS, which is our Global Business Services process, because we're a big company, so we have to basically make sure that all of these tools are security compliant, especially with the UK GDPR, and we have to make sure that they are secure, privacy laws are adhered to, and that all the AI in there is actually going to be okay. Our proprietary information isn't actually going to get out there. So I'm going to talk a bit about our team in 2025. So we're just growing and growing. So just keep an eye on us, and there will be opportunities in 2025 as well. So I've presented quite a lot of slides, but do you think that design and research ops matters? And if you've answered yes, then please do make the business case for a specialist design and research ops role in your team. So here is actually a template, which I've shared with Miles, and we can send that out there. And please talk to your managers and see if you can get a design ops role or an operations role in your team, and you can get all those great benefits. So, in summary, my work in design and research ops starts with empathy. That starts with that first stage of the design thinking process. Forming a cohesive team culture, and I use this to drive collaboration and cooperation through design thinking. So I've got some design and research ops resources that I'd like to share with you as well. So these are the great communities, the Design Ops Assembly. Please join it, it's absolutely fantastic. And there's a research ops community as well. There's loads of great information on there, and you can talk to other people who are interested in doing design ops. I'm quite happy to share these slides as well. There are some handbooks from Superside and Envision. Loads of great information in there. That's absolutely great. And then this is Alice Rawson's TED Talk. It's only 12 minutes, but it's absolutely fantastic. But she talks about where design meets life and great rebel designers. Because I love that idea of being a rebel. It's absolutely fantastic. She talks about from Blackbeard to Florence Nightingale. So it's a good 12-minute watch, actually. Yeah. And this is another TED Talk that I really love as well. This is from one of my heroes, Linda Hill. She's an ethnographic researcher, and she's done huge amounts of research with companies like Pixar and Google, and she really wants to understand their creative process. How do they create such amazing products and stories? So basically, this is a really great talk, but basically she nails it down to this this diagram. So creative abrasion, where there's lots of ideas and they're all clashing together. Creative agility, coming up with ideas, huge amounts of ideas. Then actually creative resolution, that's the refinement and picking the ones that you want to work with. And it just keeps on looping around. But it's a really great TED Talk, only 17 minutes as well. And then this here is another great resource as well about design thinking. Because design thinking is very, very human experience focused, but this actually widens it so it becomes less human-centered and more future-proof. So there's some great talks in here, and this is on the McKinsey website, and I can share the link for that as well. But it really does make you think that design is a tool to make the world better, not just humans. So thank you very much for your time. Please connect to me, and if you want to ask me any questions, I'll be in the break. So yeah, thank you very much. I hope I haven't gone over time.
No, we actually have time for a question or two now.
Yeah,
if you're
sure.
open to it.
Oh, is it? That's for me.
That was for you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't want to interrupt you there. Everyone, first of all, put your hands together. Excellent job for first-time presentation and public speaking. So yeah, well done. And we now do have a couple of minutes. So does anyone have any questions for Natasha based on her talk? We've got one here.
Hi, thank you so much for the talk. It was very interesting. My name is Elizabeth. I'm a UX researcher. And so my question is, could you give us an example of an outcome that you've set for a particular project that you worked on and how you tested that outcome? So what you look for and maybe how you quantify or the results that you get out of these projects.
Well, it probably goes back to that other slide. I log and track everything, basically, as much as I can. And I want to actually make sure that I can really show off the team in the best light possible. So, going back to that slide, it was really the reason why I got all that data is because I've been logging and tracking it. And I've been wanting to see how we can progress. And actually, then I can, hopefully say how have you've improved in 2025. And it's just... I think in general we've really matured and we've upped our capabilities and we've brought on bigger challenges as well, which is really good. I don't really have I hope that's enough. I'll be happy to pick up the conversation later. Yeah.
Anybody else? Oh, have a minute.
Got a couple.
Hi, I'm Abhinaya. So I was just wondering, I remember you said that you started out at a phase where it was just there were a couple of people who were even leaving the team, and then you managed to grow into such a large team. So I was wondering, apart from the retros and the onboarding, didn't you also have to pitch to product managers and stuff like that in terms of
Which product managers about what?
like about getting more people?
Oh yes, yeah, no, we basically, this is why I put the business case up, because this is why budgets are being finalised now. So basically, we in the summer, budgets are really discussed, but then they're really nailed down and they're signed off in October. So we have to really talk to our managers and sort of, and do that. But one of the good things was, as we were logging and tracking the amount of work we could do, we were sort of like, we were understanding our capacity as a team as well. So we could see where we were understaffed, where we were under-resourced, because we could see what was coming through as well, through the planning, through the roadmaps that the PMs were actually, through the roadmap that the PMs were constructing. We were quite going, well, we've only got a few designers, how are we going to deliver any of this? Either you make the jobs much smaller and we deliver much less, or we get more people in and they work for more people. Yeah, so that's how it worked out.